Good afternoon. Today is February 7th, 2026, and it's 1:10. Um, I did part one of Queen of the Ring, and now I'm going to do part two after I had woke up from my sleep. Okay, so I already prayed Fajr and I prayed the noon prayer. Lord. So I'm going to start reading where I left off. I was talking about the Shahada and how in the events of the beginning was about basically my purchase of the ring, which I'm wearing on my neck, and the Shahada was the next part. Now I'm going to get into basically where I left off. So let me pull that up. I had it ready already. Okay, so this is where I left off. So me, I look very much the same in my opinion. Okay. Me again. So I'm just going to be reading off my computer. If you don't really like this setup, that's okay. People who like it, they'll stay and they'll watch and listen. So, again, this story is about myself in a mirrored form because I don't want to really expose other people. I use fictional names when it comes to me. Then when I'm not talking about other people, I use my real name. So, about the Queen of the Ring is about a young woman named Marilyn Vena who has to learn how to navigate life through her conversion experience to Islam. Prior to Islam, she was raised in a Christian household. Now a college student, she defied her family's tradition in order to find a faith that matched her own internally. The young woman also is a budding global citizen in her activities within multiple ethnic communities, some of her own and others foreign to her. This is a story about faith and how faith works. Does she learn how to avoid mistakes and how to repent when she makes them? Found out more about Marilyn Vena, the Queen of the Ring, and her experiences that shaped her as a Muslim. Queen of the Ring is a fictional memoir that mirrors the writer's own, myself. Latonian changes the names of individuals in order to protect their true identities. Some true events were dramatized. So before I begin, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Let's go to the page where I left off. Okay, so well after the noon prayer, Ahmed and Mara met up with their common friend group at Oasis Mediterranean Cuisine, called OMC for short. And there they ate kebabs and falafel. The taste of the Middle East was starting to grow on her. She still couldn't stand the taste of hummus, no matter how many times she tried it. But not to be seen as rude, she ate a small portion and continued with her pita bread and roasted lamb. She noticed that her Arab friends were very hospitable and generous. She watched the men fight over who was going to pay for each other's food. And that's where I left off, so. She watched the men fight over who was going to pay for each other's food. Being foreign to their customs, Mara and her American friends, who were at least somewhat aware of the social customs of Arabs, just paid for their own food. No need to argue over who was going to pay for each other. Once everyone's meal was paid for, they all went back to their ordinary lives, and Mara waved Ahmed goodbye as he left with his country's brethren. She knew he was excited to finally meet his wife. Let me read that again. She knew he was excited to finally have his wife join him in this foreign country, and they offered him a car of his own to pick her up. He wanted Mara to meet her. Seeing Saudi women was becoming more and more an activity to look forward to. Ahmed assured her that his wife was very intelligent and not only spoke Arabic, but English even better than he could. He had a lot to look forward to with her arrival. Now I'm going to kind of take this away from me so you won't be seeing my face all the time. The same day, Marilyn was sitting in the cafe and she spotted Ahmed talking to a woman he had given drinks to. Mara suspected the woman to be his wife. Marilyn was in a casual Arabic conversation course hosted at the cafe. Her teacher, Aleph, saw her smiling at the couple and said, "Why don't you join them?" "Mara, that's my friend's wife. He's been spending months prior to her arrival talking nonstop about her. I don't want to interrupt him. Let's finish our conversation session. I have a cultural event to go to after." I need a water break. So. Okay. Mara took one last glance at the couple from Saudi Arabia, and she was happy for them. Soon after, she met up with a group of friends at a cultural event for Hispanics, regardless of race. However, many people in attendance were racially Native American or mixed with it. Very few had actually known traces of Hispanic blood left from Spain. More or less, everyone who attended could speak Spanish in varying degrees from all over. Marilyn and a few others like her spoke American Spanish. Rita Lima came up to Marilyn Vena and asked her to be the community's cultural exchange ambassador. Rita: "Come on, Mara. You're perfect for this role. We need you. You're not Mexican, but you have been around them enough to know a great deal of culture and some expressions. You also have been around Puerto Ricans and Dominicans." Mara: "Listen, since I made a lifestyle change with Islam, there are things I have to not participate in anymore. I mean, I don't even know if I'm allowed to dance anymore, and I love dancing, you know that. Salsa, merengue, bachata, cha-cha y más. Pero no puedo hacer nada, amiguita. I have to sit this one out. Rita: I will put in a good word for you. This is a great opportunity to boost your skills, and it looks great on a resume for community service experiences." Mara: "Do employees even care about stuff like that? Come on. How does this sound to you?" Marilyn Vena was involved in the Latino Student Association and Hispanic culture clubs outside of her school's curriculum, blah, blah, blah. Rita: "Humility also incorporates truth. You are not boasting, nor are you lying about saying those things." Mara: "And what about my activities in the Islamic communities among my fellow Muslimas, and the Muslim men? I have experience there too. Should I exploit everything I do?" Rita: "It's not exploitation, Mara. Mara, to me it is. Did you ever think that I involve myself in many different communities because I actually find joy in it? I don't want that exploited, Rita. and I am already feeling down for giving up so much. There's so much I found out that I can't do anymore after I had taken my Shahada. The list of things I am still struggling to understand includes the prohibitions. Rita, it sounds like you are turning into a nun. Mira, that's Catholic, Rita. I'm not turning into a nun. Nuns can't get married, but I can. Rita, mira, chica. You are still my friend no matter what changes you are making. If it makes you happy, I will let the matter go, but we will miss you at Latin dance nights, and I could always count on you for dances. Mira, if we hosted dances just for us women, we could still perform. It's just a prohibition to do so involving men I am not related to. Once I wear the hijab, I have to be mindful of the male gaze. Rita, wow, so much has changed for you. Men are like everywhere. Mira, I want to laugh, but I don't want to choke on my food. Mira was eating her favorite Mexican dish, chicken tamales. She herself had learned to make them. As the night came upon them all, Mira stayed behind to clean up, and then she went home for the final prayer of the day. The United Nations and Donald Trump were on the news playing in the background. Not that anyone was paying the news much attention, but Mara indeed borrowed time to listen. Marilyn Vena didn't care too much about what Donald J. Trump was saying. In fact, she had always tuned him out on politics, but she did admire a few of his business books and one of his most iconic tales of persistence and the comeback. She tried to learn a little bit of a lot, jack of all trades, as they call it. In her case, Jackie of all trades. The adhan sounded off on her phone's app that she had downloaded, and she went off to cleanse herself, and she prayed. Layla. Layla was her Arabic name in class and in Islam, even though she still was called Mira. Before she was sound asleep, she contemplated on how odd it was that it was also her second birth name. She may have converted to Islam, but she never had to change her name. MashaAllah. Some time passes, and Marilyn started to see less and less of her dear Saudi friend, Ahmed. He was true to his word that he viewed his wife as his entire world. Prior to inviting her to the masjid, they had a heartful conversation about his culture. Past conversation. Ahmed, my culture is not like what you think. Yes, it is true that some men take many wives, but not me. I just have one and I love her. I like that she is smarter than me in some ways, and I like to pick on her so that we can argue. She went to the university in my country and majored in English. She knows many things, and there's so much to her that I like. I just want her. And no, we Saudis are not our princes. These thobes you see us wear is cultural. Some of us are here on government stipends. Mara, I'm glad to hear that. I didn't want to assume many things about Saudi Arabia, so I asked. And no, I am not a Christian. Why would you think that about me without asking me, or without knowing me? Ahmed, at first I wasn't sure of your religion. I see many the ladies like you who cover their hair, black ladies. Mara, what makes you think that I'm just a black woman? Ahmed, there's many people in my country who look like you. I just thought that you were black. Marilyn shows Ahmed an image of her father. Does this look like a black man to you? Ahmed, no, he looks like the Spanish. Mira, he's my father. He's mixed race with African American and Native American. Ahmed, you mean like Hanud al-Hamar, the Red Indian? The original people I learned about in my country? I thought you all died. Mara laughed lightly. Mara, no. We have been mixing our race to preserve who we are. The more foreigners come here, the more we intermarried. My mother is the same races as my father. She just looks blacker. Ahmed, let me see your father's picture. Ahmed, yes. You have his eyes and similar face. You are mixed. Mara, well, to be honest, when I first saw you, I was going to speak to you in Spanish. I had no idea that you were an Arab man or Saudi. Ahmed, yes. I got that a lot here. People keep coming to me speaking in Spanish, and I answer back in English or Arabic, and then they look confused or get angry. They think that I lie about being an Arab. Mara, people think I lie about being mixed or Native American until they see my father. They either assume I am black or mixed with black and white. It's rare they guess Native American in the mix. Ahmed, well, since you are not Christian, I want to invite you to the masjid with me. Come early and everything will be ready for you. I will speak with the Imam, Sheikh Ruhi. Mira, that sounds good. I will meet you there. Present time. Mira thought that conversation over that she had with Ahmed in her visit to the masjid and how sudden her life was changing. As she walked the college town to the local store, a block away from her dorm, she had to stop for the light. That is when she heard whoops and yelling coming from an oncoming car. In it were white boys perhaps about her age, and as the light turned green, they sped up, and the one sitting in the passenger seat threw his drink at her. The one in the back seat rolled down his window to spit at her. They all laughed and sped off. Mara was in immense shock that they did that to her. She didn't do anything except wait for the light to turn green to walk. Alhamdulillah, the boy in the passenger seat missed her body by a few inches, and the one who spat at her didn't even have enough force to propel his spit anywhere near to where she stood. Nonetheless, the event really shook her up, and she started crying. Instead of the store, she turned her heels back towards the direction of her dorm and vowed not to leave her room. Once upon her bedroom door, she just wanted to scream, but she had a roommate. She knocked and opened the door. No sign of her roommate anywhere, and she was relieved. She didn't want to be questioned about her tears and scare her roommate. Mara assumed that So-young may have gone out with her boyfriend. Bassam, Mara thought to herself, let me tell Bassam what happened. Marilyn video called her pen pal from Egypt. He was also her Arabic tutor and helped her with her homework assignments. Bassam, Ahlan was Ahlan. Mara, Ahlan biki ya Gaza. كيف حالك؟ بسام أنا تمام الحمد لله وأنتي؟ Mara, أنا مش تمام. I had a very bad thing happen to me. I was walking to the store and a group of men taunted me and threw their drinks at me, and one even spat at me. Bassam, if I was there, I would have protected you. There are ignorant people in this world, Yani. Muslim women like you being targeted makes me very angry. You could leave the United States and come to Egypt or Japan. If you move to Korea, like you said that you would like to, I know some programs that help you to become an English teacher. Japan is close to Korea. Mara, but I don't want to teach English. Bassam, there's no life for me here in Egypt. All I can do is get jobs freelance by translating Arabic into Japanese and other languages. If I leave Egypt, I would very much like to see you. Mara, I'm from this land, Bassam. I'm scared to leave. Bassam, Marilyn Layla, I like you and I want to marry you. Now that you and I are the same religion, we can be together. I am not just helping you with Arabic as a friend. I wanted to know your character and I like it a lot. If you become my wife, we can have a good life in Japan, I promise that. We can even visit Egypt for visits to my mother and my sister. Please think about it. Bassam, you were giving me a look. Listen, when my mother spoke to you and you talked to her in Egyptian Arabic, she asked me if you were our people. You speak our dialect good. If it makes you feel any better, we can discuss marriage later and we can watch each other's sleep. I just want to make sure that you are okay. Just give me your address and I can find you all the way to Egypt. All the way to my English. Just give me your address and I can find you all the way from Egypt. When you leave, my GPS will tell me where you are, and that way, if anything happens to you, I will be able to know where you are as a safety measure. Mara was relieved to have a man so boldly claim her. Her face red and puffy from crying, she agreed and gave him her coordinates. After Bassam was able to identify where she was located, he asked her some questions about the building she resided, and she confirmed that it was the same he saw. From that day forward, Bassam watched over her like an angel, and they would always FaceTime each other and fall asleep. Mara's roommate often spent nights with her boyfriend, making this possible. If this was forbidden to do in Islam, Bassam, who was born into it, and the culture, made no mention. He enjoyed watching over Marilyn from afar. He longed for her to join him. Bassam Ma'udi, the Egyptian man that she would send her whispers to from afar. Months later, Bassam accepted that Marilyn's heart was for her land. He wished her well and told her honestly that if she didn't want to be his wife, that he would be hurt, but he couldn't continue their chats. Mara, poor Mara, she told him no. The man who watched over her for months so that she would feel safe was now gone. She still remembers his smile, his dimples, and his curly, wavy hair that grew out like Carrot Top's fiery orange afro. He was very white for an Egyptian, but he explained that Greeks and Italians came to Egypt, and he inherited a pale look but African hair. He tried to tan. Internally, Mara fought herself. Why did I let him go? I did like him. Why was I so scared about leaving my country? Wasn't it this very country that rejected me the day I covered my hair? Hadn't I been abused enough because I practice Islam? Wouldn't it be better that I leave? Bassam, he's tall, he's kind, and he's a family man. His mother likes me. Why did I say no? All of these thoughts came racing to her mind, and her phone no longer pinged with notifications from Bassam. There was no man watching over her with her permission. So more months passes, and Mara's Arabic had improved. She was walking the streets again, wearing her favorite blue and gold kaftan dress, a beige hijab, and gold ballerina slip-ons. She heard a car honk beside her, and a woman in the driver's seat rolled the window down. She said, "Strange woman, min aina anti?" Mara, "Ana Amerikiya." Strange woman, "La, وبابوش من أين بابوش?" Mara, "أبي من هنا. هو أمريكي مثلني." Strange woman, "You are not Arab? I thought you were Arabi." Arab woman, "Yemen like me. You look like Yemen. You sure your father is not Yemeni?" Mara, "No, my father is not Arab or Yemeni. I am not lying. I come from here." Strange woman, "Where you learn my language?" Mara, "I go to school." Strange woman, "MashaAllah. You sound good. You sound like Arab. Keep going. Ma'asalama." Mara, "Allah ma'ak. God be with you." And the strange woman, who revealed herself to be from Yemen, smiled in approval and rolled her car window up. Reflections upon a Warning, Friday Sermon. How easy it is to go astray. Islam is a religion that mandates prayer. To those who remain careful of their prayers, may they never stray away from guidance. To those who stop praying or who do not pray are those who earned Allah's anger and have gone astray. It could be any one of us, and Allah is ready to accept repentance or to replace us with another who is happy to pray. Marilyn Layla Vina thought that khutbah was just a warning to believers. She didn't understand at the time how faith works. It was now Friday, and she didn't know that every time she showed up to prayer with Allah, that she was clocking in to work on her faith. Even in the Quran, Allah made a statement saying not to think ourselves pure and to refrain from saying that we believe, but to say that we submit. Hence, the term was mandated to claim for ourselves in Arabic, Muslim, one who submits. For females, Muslima, and the adopted term used as a unisex term in English, Muslim. So we say Muslim man or Muslim woman after it. The signs of true believers are the ones found praying, and the signs of disbelievers are the ones who abandon prayers or who don't pray. Allah didn't say that disbelief was not belief in Him alone. It was actions of not working. What was the work of this faith? Worship and prayers. That is how we were supposed to spend our time. There is other 4 requirements. Give charity, fast, especially in the month of Ramadan. Pray, make hajj. Worship Allah alone, but prayer is a major one. Mara thought she understood that. She thought in arrogance that it could never be her that would go astray. After all, she majored in Islamic studies. She never called upon another as her God worthy to be worshipped, but to abandon a prayer. How did she miss that warning from Allah? It was said clearly in the Quran. Isn't that how Satan or Iblis deceives us? Don't we hear notifications and warnings and think because we saw or heard the warnings that we would obey them? Or the deceitful thoughts that we would have more time to return to prayers. Abandoning, abandoning prayer isn't sudden. It's done with subtlety. Until one day you wake up. Let me drink water. Nabi, where's my water? Yeah, that's better. Abandoning prayer isn't sudden. It's done with subtlety. Until one day you wake up and you think life is easier because you don't have to take 5 times out of the day to cleanse yourself and to pray. That was not faith at work. How did she get there? And how could she ever return? The past, the present, and the future were all amalgamated into one. At the present, she prayed, but Allah and her chosen angels, who records her daily, knows what she has done and will do. But for now, she doesn't think the warning applies to her truly because she prays. A junior in college, and she prays. A great deal of tests has come her way. Not only was she adjusting to her new college as a transfer student, but she was given the status of a freshman, even though she was actually a junior by years of college attendance, no job, and money getting tight, and borrowing more student loans than she could ever pay back in less than 3 years. She tried to continue college and left the dorm life. Her older brother took her in. Upon her second year of staying with him, She met a man with more native blood than she had, and she was setting her sight upon him. One day she visited his workplace with an older woman who shared her religion, and they once prayed communal prayers together. She asked the older woman to approach her man of interest to ask if he was single and if he had a girlfriend or a wife back in his home country. Marilyn was a knowledgeable woman. She knew that Native Americans can also have Hispanic or Latino roots, meaning they were migrants, if she saw them in her home state, because her Native American heritage was also native to her state. Once the older woman came back confirming answers, she was desiring to know the young man who approached her. Oh, that was weird. Once the older woman came back confirming answers, she was desiring to know the young man who... Yeah, I wrote that in English so weird. That's why I can't read it so good. I'm going to try this one more time. Once the older woman came back confirming answers, she was desiring to know the young man who approached her and smiled and said, "I am single. I have no girlfriend or wife in my country." That encouraged her to return again and again to the man's workplace, hoping that she could convince him to be her man. She wanted to know if he prayed, but upon a relationship with him, she discovered he prayed, fasted, and was not a Muslim man. Her stubborn nature and his beauty made her go against what she knew. She told herself, "I can remain who I am and still be with this man. Even my family are Christians, but I did not follow them." One day, she introduced the bald-headed man who shared her skin color to her mother. She didn't lie, but she didn't disclose the full truth either. She introduced the man to her mother as her husband. Marilyn's mother: "How is he your husband? And I didn't witness a marriage. You didn't invite me, your mom, to no wedding." The man spoke up and confirmed what he knew to be a shared fabrication. Marilyn's husband: "Your daughter is my wife. We live together. She cooks for me and does everything how I want my wife to do." Marilyn met this man who was 2 years younger than she was, and he had no hair. Gradually, he grew it out, and she took joy in brushing, combing, and putting oil in his hair. She especially loved braiding his hair into one long braid, the style she knew was appropriate for men to have, at least in her native culture. Speed rail through time. This union was very difficult to maintain. Marilyn, I just been why. I think because I'm reading for a long time. Marilyn knew that her man was honest. He told her that he would return to his country and that he planned to leave her. She knew all of this, but years in, she had hoped that she had worked her way into his heart. It was his own mother who convinced him to bring Marilyn with him back to his homeland. If it was not for his mother, she would have never left her land. After all, she refused Bassam because she was scared. But she didn't fear leaving this time because of how much her new man's mother pleaded to see her in person. Some time passes, and on a new year, there was an event that changed Mary forever. The man she was insane about, the man she claimed as her husband without proof, except for her actions towards him, acting as a wife to him, and her grandmother's obituary with him claimed as her husband. He, the man she loved, had told her to return to her land. The woman who has his child has his heart. She was the only woman he had at that time, but he told her that if she stayed in his land, that there would be another woman that he will marry. If she didn't want that life, that she should leave, and she left. The still hijab-wearing, praying Muslim woman, Marilyn, left the man she was crazy about. He told her that she was lucky, that his father liked her. Not all women are lucky. Some men loved the woman they have, but his family perhaps hates her and mistreats her. He didn't love her, so he told her that his family liking her was a good thing. Returning home was the best thing Marilyn could have done. She even got her first job post-dropout from college. Now a seasoned employee, she didn't have too many conflicts until she became her workplace's ambassador. One woman, for what seemed like no reason at all, decided to hate on Mara. She was a new hire and overheard Mara speaking in Spanish with a Dominican new hire woman. Female hater. I hope you're not going around telling others that you are Spanish. People think that I am Spanish, but I am black and white. You are black just like me. Mara ignored the ignorance coming from this woman. Indeed, Mara was of Hispanic heritage with DNA testing of proof. Dominican, Puerto Rican, cousins in Mexico, who knew? But she didn't need to tell her hater that. She just kept doing her job. Later on, the same hater was spotted, taking it upon herself to remove Mara's personal belongings from her work area. When Mara was leaving the bathroom, she herself witnessed this happen. When she went back to her work area, she went in search of the hater and took back her work equipment and belongings. As she did so, her hater spoke back to her, female hater. Bro, cards are not assigned. Speaking in Ebonics or African American slang. Mara, I was your ambassador. I told you, like I told everyone else, not to touch work equipment, even when you see personal belongings on them. That means the equipment is in use. You have to wait up to 10 minutes to see if the person comes back to confirm if it's okay to take or remove belongings. I was coming back from the bathroom and I saw what you did. Mara knew her hater didn't like hearing Mara speak Spanish, just as much as she didn't like improper English. So she even broke to the conversation to it. Falta respeto, mal peor. In Mara's mind, who in the world steals the work equipment of an ambassador? Which was the first to go? Was it Mara's hijab, or was it her prayers? At that time, she was still doing both. But her image was becoming a burden. She removed her hijab a year prior to meeting her African-American mulatto female hater. She did so in hopes that men would feel encouraged to approach her. She was single, and she was angry at Allah. Why be a good woman? I spent years on a man who just like that told me and showed me that I was replaceable. Why pray when I lost who I wanted and he didn't want me? But lo, didn't she realize that she was the disobedient one? Did Allah in the Quran say pretend to be married? Did he say believing women are for Christian men or for Muslim men? Did she follow her desires or Islam? Was removing the hijab a revealing of the truth? Was she so blind about her anger that she refused to see that her desires were the source? When will she truly submit to Allah? Prayer slipping every day now, and finally they stopped. Who was to know that they stopped? Her mother, who was a Christian, would be relieved to know they stopped. Her daughter no longer practicing Islam visibly in public. She took off the hijab. Finally, she can feel comfortable being around her daughter in public again. One thing that held onto her mark as a Muslim woman was her work badge photo. It took her 5 years to finally change the badge photo so that no one would know that she was a Muslim woman. Men would want her now. She can dress sexy like other women and be desired. No more sister act. Ironically, Marilyn Leila Vena was a homebody. She was still sister act without the hijab. Her image was hard to shake, at least at her workplace, until she decided to transfer work sites. Nobody knows her there at the new location. She could be sexy now and not feel all eyes on her judging her for removing her hijab. And there she goes. She started showing up to work in tight workout leggings or TikTok yoga leggings, revealing her camel toe and buttocks. She went from classy, reserved lady to a woman loose.